Welcome everyone to Life Lessons from Hollywood Movies, presented by my organization, The Zen of Hollywood, and me, your host, David McKay. In this segment, we extract life lessons from movies and then use simple, practical tips to help us improve our lives and become happier, which we all desire. Okay, today's theme is how to trust life. Trusting life as the reliable narrator that it is. And we're going to examine this theme through the beautiful film Life Itself, starring Oscar Isaac and Olivia Wilde, among others. Please know there are spoilers ahead. Okay, this film is a multi-generational story, in fact, 3 generations. And the narrator Elena is the youngest member. And the whole film really is about her family. Now, the theme of this film is basically the interconnecting web of life. That behind life's tragedy and pain, as well as life's joy and happiness, is this grand design, life itself, that is always guiding us to where we need to be. Let me explain. So let's start with Elena's maternal grandparents, who are Will and Abby in the film. And remember that they are this happy couple. They're in love with each other. In fact, Abby is pregnant when she is hit by a bus on that fateful day. She dies, but her child lives and becomes this woman named Dylan, who lives in New York City. Okay, that's on one side. Let's now focus on Elena's paternal grandparents, who are these 2 people living in Spain and whose lives are also marked by tragedy. They live together for a while, they're in love with each other, but then they eventually separate, and Elena's grandmother ends up dying of cancer. But not before they have a child, a son named Rodrigo. Now, Rodrigo is taken by his family to see America, and so they go to New York City. And in fact, it's Rodrigo who's on that bus on that fateful day that hits Abby and kills her. So he witnesses her death and is traumatized, right? Eventually, Rodrigo comes back to New York City as a young adult, and when he learns the news that his mother, Elena's grandmother, dies of cancer, well, Rodrigo is distraught and he goes for a run to deal with his emotions, and that's when he runs into Dylan. They meet, they eventually become a couple, they have a child who is Elena, and therefore the interconnecting web of life that leads to Elena herself. Now, we have a tendency not to believe in life's synchronicities. We have a tendency to believe that life is random, cruel, taking us to places where we don't want to be. In other words, that life is ultimately unreliable. And that's exactly another theme of the film, the unreliable narrator. Now, the unreliable narrator is just a literary device, but it's being used in the film as a bigger metaphor. In fact, it is the subject of Abby's thesis paper in the film. She calls life the ultimate unreliable narrator. But here's the thing, we cannot fulfill our potential without life's challenges, without its problems. We can't get there. So this is nothing but the ego superimposing its expectations onto life itself. We think we know all about life. We know what we need. We think that life should always be fair, that people should always treat us well, and that we should always do well. But this is nothing but our ego expectations, right? Again, superimposed onto life. And it's just an attempt to protect ourselves, the ego to protect itself, to defend from harm, right? And to feel safe, and ultimately to avoid death. That's what this is all about, the ego surviving. So my tip of the day is, of course, to trust in life. Trust in life itself as the reliable narrator that it is. It's easy to trust in the material world. That's what the ego loves to do. Everybody's doing this. But that takes no courage. What takes courage is to trust in your intuition, that small voice within that tells you that life really knows what it's doing. Otherwise, we would never have gotten to where we are today. Life has given us the resources, the people, everything that we need to get to where we are. It is only we with our egos that block that path. So put aside your ego, take a look at your thoughts and beliefs that are based in fear and put them aside, and instead begin to trust your heart. This is life, the reliable narrator that will always take us to where we need to be. Okay, so what do you think about this life lesson in this movie? Feel free to leave comments below. And for more tips, movies, and life lessons, please go to my website, thezenofhollywood.com. That's thezenofhollywood.com. And feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.